Everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. What's happening in Carnesol? Good to see you. Anna, what's up? Sweet Liberty, how are you? Charlie Muffins. Here's the deal, people. I need new equipment. We're well aware of this. Had a problem with the computer. We're supposed to get a new one today. Didn't come through. This is why I didn't go live today, because I was anticipating doing this today with new equipment. Didn't really want to go live until I did. However, since that didn't go through, I feel the need. Hello, Cassandra. I feel the need to talk about this in a big way. Finding Dory, how are you? Caroline in Canada, good to see you. LRM, good to see you. Rob McMullen, good to see you. Yvette, how are you? Toby, glad you're here, Toby. Renee B, I'm glad you're here. Didi Razzle Dazzle, hope you're doing well. Or Didi Dazzle, sorry. I slipped. Stephen, how are you? From Newcastle, beautiful. Matrix Rabbit, good to see you. Hey, Mary E. Baronzoni. Incarnasol. Christine, Nana of 2, glad you're here. Hey, Diane. Kristen Melinda. Greg Trindall, good day. Elizabeth Frazier, glad you're here. Heather, trust but document. Pretty funny you say that, because that's what we're doing here today. Good Lord. Tommy Bird, what's happening? Taylor Miller, glad you're here. Yarn Prepper. All right, we'll fire this up briefly, and then I'll go back to call out a few more names, because we got to let people. It takes about 10 minutes for these people to put out a damn notification. You feel me? So I kind of like people to hear this. But let me give you a little background for Grins. Hey, Wilford, let me give you a little background for Grins. All right. If you've been with the boat a long time, this is a story you will have already heard, right? Or been a part of. Been here for the entire duration. But about 3 years ago, this time of year, actually. This is a desk I'm sitting at, right? You guys probably, well, I can't really do that, but this is a desk I'm sitting at. It's an antique roll top desk. Dig it. If you go back and look at the really early days of the lifeboat, I shot from that direction, coming at me this way. So I would sit like this, right? For the duration of the show, I was sideways, and the camera was set up right in front of me on a tripod, right? So I was getting ready to go live, and I hit a vape, right? And I bent down and I hit a vape. And when I came up, right, I did one of these numbers. They made the trolls had a field day with this thing. It's 15 seconds. And you know what? It looks like I'm doing a line. It does. I mean, that's what it looks like. And it's frustrating, because no matter how many times you say to people, hey, look, I took a drug test for the federal government the following day, right? Documentable. There are people that are always going to believe what they saw. Right? How many of you have seen the clip of film of Justin Bieber and Odell Beckham in a club called Live? Right? Trey Songz is doing what? The term that they use in prison is shooting jiggers. Right? That's when you sit there and make sure that the guy that's tattooing, or the guys that are going in there for a fist fight, or whatever the hell they're doing, right? They're lighting stuff on fire, whatever they're doing that they don't want to get caught, they stick a guy outside to shoot jiggers. And the narrative has been, since the very first time I saw any footage on this, that Trey Songz was watching, keeping lookout, while Justin Bieber performed fellatio on Odell Beckham, right? That's heartbreaking, because he was a very, very young kid. And there are about 4 really big names that have said, without a doubt, this is what's going on. Without a doubt, this is what's going on. Like, people that make it sound like they were standing there when it happened, right? It didn't happen the way you're hearing it. And I'm as guilty as the jackasses that think I snorted that stuff. Is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let me tell you what happened in that club. That club sits on 2 different levels, maybe even 3, but 2 that we definitely can see, right? So what's happening is Odell Beckham is standing 1 row above, like 1 rung above Justin Bieber. Now, if you see the whole clip of film of this, and by the way, this is what's disturbing. I had somebody send me a clip of film that, I promise you, right? There were still shots. It wasn't even a clip of film. It was like 6 stills, one right after the other. So you could see a progression of what's happening. And it was just a clip of Odell Beckham looking like, without a doubt, he's pulling his pants up. And it's just looks bad. The kid's turning this way. See his head just starting to turn. And Odell Beckham's pulling his pants up. Here's what you don't see. Depth perception in any way. Because I saw this from the side. And that kid is 2.5 feet in front of Odell Beckham. And the people that said he just finished doing the job, if you watch that whole clip, he's standing on the top row with Odell Beckham. Trey Songz isn't looking around. He's trying to get everybody together for a group shot. Straight up. So Bieber hops down to put his drink down, literally hops down, sets it this way, and Trey Songz is already coming up with the camera. So as the kid's turning, Odell Beckham puts his hand on his back. He's guiding the kid toward the picture. And if you watch the whole thing, I'm sorry, but that narrative that we've been given, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. And them saying, oh, he had just finished the job. Look, man, I don't care how good you are at this. He would have had to have done it in a half a second. If their narrative is the truth, it had to have been done in a half a second, because that's how long he's standing below, right, Odell Beckham. Because the rest of the time, he's actually standing behind him, right, drinking water. Drinking water. Later that night, because I looked through every single still shot, everything you could from that night. Later on in the night, he's drinking a very, very tall Beck's, right? He's doing the old Beck's. I think it's the not the dark stuff, but the light stuff. It is. Here's the deal. I don't even know that it's manipulated, right? I don't think it's manipulated, but here's what it is. Somebody looked at this, right? They knew what the clip was. The people that took this to make it into whatever they did the first time had the original clip. And if you watch that original clip, you can't mistake what happened. It's not possible, because the whole thing is over in the snap of a freaking finger. Kid hops down, sets down his drink, turns around, they do that picture, right? And then this part always bummed me out. This is the part that always bummed me out. I said the first time I did this, I said, it looks bad, right? It looks bad. It looks like he's doing one of two things, and neither of them are things you want a kid doing. Now, I'll tell you something. I said, it looks bad. I don't know that that's what it is. And I even said at the time, there's some video out there of me that looks one way that I can promise you isn't what you're looking at. But if you take something in the wrong clip, right, of the 15 seconds of film they got of me, I think 10 seconds of it, I'm supposedly doing a line. Now, I don't know how many of you have snorted something in your life, but if you could do it for 10 seconds, you're going to stop your ticker, right? It's usually a process that goes a little quicker, but whatever. What we're looking at in that is very deceptive. It's very deceptive. Now, I had it sent to me, right? I had it sent to me in a clip. I had it sent to me in a really small section. And you know what, Ivy's mama? Jaguar Wright did say it happened. Now, I don't know that Jaguar is saying that she was there. If you caught the wrong clip of film of me, you would say Tommy Scoville said he did that. Because of the way that things are recorded, I probably have sounded, I've said it's disturbing as hell. It's fake, which is why I'm here. And I have said before, the other clip of film of Justin Bieber is with Diddy. This is the, I got him for 48 hours, and he gives him the number 555, right? 55 for the phone number. If you see the whole clip of that, it's corny as hell. It's not. It's the reason that Bieber looks uncomfortable is because he's a lousy actor. Because right before they go and start filming, they have a setup. Here's what we're going to tell them. We want to tell these people they're not winging that. They had a script. He was going to complain about not having his number, making the kid sound like he's a big dog. We don't get any of that, right? Because they want it to look away. They want it to look ugly. I promise you, people, we don't need to make Diddy, right? We don't need to lie to make this guy look like a scumbag. It's disturbing, right? It really is. And I don't want to be a part of it. I really don't. I feel guilty as crap. And I'm going to be, I'm a guy that comments on stuff, but I got to stop commenting on things. I don't chase all the way back to source before I get on it. I can't, because this was disturbing as shit. Pardon me. When I saw the actual clip of this, and I realized that I've been played, and I'll tell you something, I have been played. It's not a matter of a misunderstanding or anything else, because the person that sent me the clip showing me him pulling up his trousers know exactly what the rest of that thing looks like. So if you're that person, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that the truth is a lot better. Now, here's the truth. That kid shouldn't have been at that party. He shouldn't have. He's not old enough. He's in a nightclub, right? He's a boy. He's a baby. and he's in a nightclub getting hammered. But the part that always bothered me in that, right from the first time I saw it, if you got caught doing what they allegedly were doing, right, you would have a look on your face of terror and panic. They cut that clip right as Bieber turns so that you can't really tell what you're looking at. The end of it is the kid with a you-know-what-eating grin on his face, this big, yelling, woo-hoo-hoo, happy as hell. And that's not a response that somebody would be giving, in my opinion, naturally, if you had been caught doing what they allege that he was doing. And I'll tell you something, Odell would have been a little bit more freaked out, I think, right? It's just horrific timing. And there's a lot of things, you can Google stuff online, right? Things that look one way, but completely are not. Okay, well, that's it. That is it. But the people that say, hey, he was coming up and he like the reason his mouth looks wet is because a second before they come up, he's pounding out of a water bottle, plastic one. Right? It's exactly what happens. He bends down to put it on the table. Now, when he stands back up, the world started a really great rumor. And you know something? This video that I'm doing right now is going to, if we're lucky, might get 10,000 views. There are millions and millions and millions of views out there, right? With headlines like Odell, like Bieber goes down on Odell Beckham, right? I saw him. I was looking at one after another today. And that's a bummer, man. That's a bummer for a kid that I'm not saying, by the way, do I think that they had a relationship like an older brother kind of a thing? I don't. And the reason I say that is common friggin' sense. When he shows up and the first thing Diddy does is put a knuckle right here and then run it down his chest. And then he goes up above the nipple, down below the nipple, like he's doing it like a cross. He's looking for a wire. Allegedly, lip readers have said that that's what he asks him. When he leans in, he goes, you ain't wearing a wire. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it, isn't it? Yeah, there are several people, there are videos of people who are saying that they have copies of Diddy tapes. Would they not be guilty of some crime for not handing them over to the feds, especially if there are crimes and SA on them? Just as importantly, if anybody on those tapes are below the age of 18, then what you have there, right, is CP, right? Y'all know what CP is. And that's not something you would want to have. And these people come out and brag about it. But I'll tell you something else. Some of the people who are saying that they have these tapes, use this clip of Bieber and Odell Beckham as part of the evidence of how they have the dirt. So pay attention, because if somebody's coming out and telling you that video, and I'll tell you something, all of you can do the homework on this, right? You can Google this. You may have to do it off of the big red button. You might be able to do it on the big red button. I found some pretty incredible stuff on a different platform that I'm not going to plug here, but there are several angles of that. And even from the front, if you see the entire thing from the angle that it looks bad at, but you see it unedited without them splicing it, and you'll realize that the kid hops down, bends down, turns up. The whole process literally takes 2 seconds. He wasn't doing anything to Odell Beckham. Now, should he have been in a nightclub getting hammered at 15 with a bunch of professional athletes? No, that's suspect as hell. It really is. And there's video that is readily available out there of the kid drinking out of a water bottle that wasn't clear. And that makes people nervous, right? Especially in the Diddy verse, right? I think the guy's a scumbag, but there's a feeding frenzy going on right now that to make this scumbag into something worse than what he is. And I don't think we need that help, right? And there's already been, sadly, there's already been the first sort of documented case where somebody who has filed a suit has now backed off, right? Because we're going to see more of this, people. This is a feeding frenzy. And I think it's going to be incumbent on anybody that's going to make $1 coming live and talking about this thing to maybe chase some of this stuff down. I'm embarrassed as hell, I'll be honest with you. The 2 videos of Bieber, those are the ones that everybody talks about in terms of him being a victim. I believe he's a victim, by the way. I believe he's a victim. And I believe he's a victim because of his own words. He sat down, he did a video, and he talks about how tough it was when he was a kid, right? Growing up in the music industry, not knowing who to trust, right? He's got some really heavy moments in that interview. We don't need to make it any worse than that. Holy crap, right? We know that he had a real serious problem with substances, right? He's done interviews about it. He said when he woke up in the morning and his day started with him lighting one up and eating a few pills that he knew that something was wrong. Hey, Barbie Hall, good to see you. Hey, Bill, what's happening? Subi, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Roberta, welcome. But this is something, if you're brand new here, I talk about drugs a lot on this channel, right? Because this is my passion is trying to help people get sober because I spent my whole life addicted to smack, right? Addicted to heroin. So that's a big thing for me, right? That's a really big thing for me. However, I don't go out of my way to lie to kids about substances because this was done for a really long time, right? If you smoke marijuana, you're going to get female breast tissue. They taught kids in school that through the DARE program. Gynecomastia, you're going to develop, and you know something? It can happen. It can, right? You got a better chance of hitting the lottery, right, than having that happen to you. But it can happen. So they put it out as a truth this big. But what happens when nobody that who smokes weed ends up needing a bra? Well, then the next thing you told them, like heroin can kill you, right? Or this fent that's on the street right now is killing people. It's the number one cause of death. They go, yeah, right. And weed makes you grow boobs, right? It's the same principle. If we continue to lie about the small stuff in this, we're going to give in, right? Honestly, we're all trying to kind of take the high road in this, right? I mean, seriously, the reason this is fun to look at kind of in the way that we do is because this SOB is depraved, right? This guy's a Bond villain. The stuff that we're hearing about him doing, allegedly, right? These are the sickest stuff you've ever heard, and it just keeps getting sicker. He's an easy cat to hate, but I don't think we should be piling on stuff that isn't real. You know what, Sean and Joel, that was a great twosome, don't you think? I'll take a little credit for that one. I had a little behind the scenes to put that together. Muffin Cooper, thank you so much, and thank you to KK. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Renee B. I feel like honestly, I'm a little embarrassed. I think Diddy knew, like Michael Jackson, which people to abuse and which not to. I'm not sure if he personally did things to Bieber, but he put him into a situation where it probably occurred. I think that what happened is he got, the rumor has been now, right? The rumor has been allegedly for a long time that Diddy took this kid like a party favor and passed him around to celebrities and people in the business. And I'll tell you something. I found a wicked disturbing image, right? I did. I found a wicked disturbing image of Bieber and another man doing something that there's no mistaking, right? There can be no mistaking. Now, I'm going to chase this puppy down before we talk about it. I'm going to find out who everybody in the picture is. I'm going to find out where the picture was taken, right? If there is any kind of an explanation to this, right? Maybe they were filming something. I don't know. It looks bad. But it doesn't look as bad as what was happening with Odell. It looks like he's making out with a dude is what it looks like. And, if he certainly has not tried, and I don't care, man. Don't give me any crap about the gay stuff. I don't care but it's not who he is, allegedly, right? That's not who he is. He's married. He's got a kid. And these are the rumors that I think have made the guy run like hell, right? He's literally doing a disappearing act. He doesn't want to be part of the music business. You know what, man? I don't know if any of you guys have ever done this for a living, but when a troll comes out and just starts saying stuff about you, right? There are people, you'll see them pop up in the chat and call me a coke head or whatever, going back to 15 seconds, 3 freaking years ago, right? I can't imagine what Bieber's going through. I got a handful of trolls who will get 1,000 subscribers over the course of their lifetime. Bieber's got big time creators on every platform in the world taking shots at the guy, right? And yeah, he's being described as, a victim. But the way we're presenting it, I don't know, man. I would like to believe that I wouldn't sell something out like that for views. I know you may not believe that, but Why does the aerial lawyer lady's interview feel like she's exploiting the high-profile person on the tapes? Her client is trying to sell to said high-profile person. You know what? Let's explore this. Does everybody know who he's talking about, first of all? Because I'll tell you something, right? Gut feelings, I'll share it with you. That woman gives me the creeps. Straight up. That woman gives me the creeps. And the allegedly, she had someone that has backed out. I'm saying allegedly just because she's an attorney. But one of her clients apparently, there's some reason to think that the suit she was bringing, which was against Chris Brown, may have been someone going after somebody for money. Kestrel. That's funny. Apparently, it only happens to the boys, though. Right? There you go. Right? When he gave his number out with a 555, right? It does start to look like a gag. I've watched people on lives say to him, the kid was so freaked out that he gives him a fake number. He doesn't want to give out his number. You could see how tripped out he was. He's a terrible actor. He's a little kid. And they said to him, all right, we're going to do a scene right here. And here's what you're going to do. And he was trying to perform is what he was trying to do. And it's, but once we start looking back, right, we put up with stuff 2 decades ago that people just went, oh, there's a lot of talk now about tables that have naked female forms on them, right, with food all over them. And people go up and just sort of, put hands all over these women that are sort of laid out on a table in a display, right? Well, there were images all over the place of that during the heyday of the Diddy parties, right? They were blocking parts of the woman's body out, but those pictures ran in newspapers, man. Right? We all just went, whoa, boy, they party hard there, don't they? It's insane. One of the other things, I was looking at a white party today, right? And one of the lamps apparently is a woman. When you start, it's incredible when you start going through all of the video and you're looking for specific things. And there's a lamp, right? So the light and everything else. And the base of the lamp is a woman with, I assume, what Diddy thinks to be a perfect form. She might have been a little thin for my taste, but Diddy considered her a perfect form, and she's holding the lampshade up to be the lamp. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's a matter of wanting to degrade people as much as possible, or what the deal is. But Sean Combs is probably a tormented person privately when he is alone. William, I would say that that's a chance, but I'll bet you that this is probably the first time he's feeling this, right? Because I don't think up to this point that he's had a whole lot of reflection time, right? He's kind of been in the middle of all of this stuff, right? All of it. Admitting to a mistake, much respect, not everyone. Oh, well, thank you, Lisa Trimble. I don't want to be, I really don't want to be a part of BS and the, even the Diddyverse, right? I want us to hate this dude for the things that he's done. I don't think that we need to create new stuff, above and beyond that. Judge Joe Brown said Homeland Security did raid on Diddy's place to find info on the others involved because the FBI normally does that. And why charges were not followed up on immediately. I think, here's what happened. This is my opinion. And you know something? I'm sticking with it. No, this is my opinion. And I think it is solid as hell. But here's my opinion. So the Rodney Little Rod lawsuit, right? That reads like an indictment. It doesn't read like a lawsuit. Like the dates and the details and the pictures to back stuff up. Like it looks more like you're getting ready to prosecute somebody. And there was actually a couple of changes made, right? Right before the filing of his stuff, there was a couple of changes made. But when that came out and they started to read this, this is the Tommy Scoville opinion. You hear this? Opinion. My opinion is this. when they read what Little Rod said was going on with the Diddy business model. Yeah, this is the business model. He's having people over. He's throwing these unbelievable parties. He's taping people. He's drugging people, and he starts to talk about things like 1,000 bottles, right, of stuff that's got G in it. He starts talking about all of these crazy things, and the government says he's going to dump this stuff, right? If what Rodney is telling us is true, then we got to go in there right now to try to preserve as much evidence as we can. Because Diddy had to know, right? He did. He knew for a long period of time that they were after him. I don't think he thought they were going to get a warrant to search. I think that really blew his mind, because people always go, wouldn't he have gotten rid of it? No, he wouldn't have. He's the most arrogant man on planet Earth, right? He's been protected. You say, no, he's been protected. The Busby, the attorney, in the very first press conference he did, and he's sticking with it, right? This has been his since he started this process, he has said in half of the charges that he's bringing forward, police were contacted and told about what happened. Half of them. These are women and men who went to, or boys and girls who went to emergency rooms, right? How the hell could that continue to happen and nothing sticks to old P. Diddy, huh? Or anybody else, right? We didn't hear any charges come out of that. Now, Diddy or anybody else, there was nobody that ever got charged for any of that crap. Well, you know something, Ben. What he will get a holiday. They give out bags for the Bureau of Prisons. Actually, gives you a Christmas package. It's one bag, and it's like a big plastic bag, maybe 2 feet tall, and it's got really small bags of chips and some hot cocoa and some candy bars and some things like that. It's the only time they give you anything all year, but they do give you something then. Tommy, have you ever accidentally taken something who you suspect had PCP? I believe it was given to me back in the early 80s. I made an error and did PCP. Didn't know what I was doing. At the time, the people we were with, we were at a party, and a guy said, he's like, I got some red devils. And it meant nothing to me, right? That meant absolutely nothing to me. And he pulled out what looked like joints. So I was like, well, that's cool, right? Red devil, whatever. So he fired this thing up. When I hit it the first time, I went, what is that? What's the taste? And he goes, oh, well, it's tea. And I'm like, why would we be smoking tea? And he's like, well, that's what they spray the PCP on. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding. And then, I mean, it hits you so friggin' fast. And I didn't enjoy it. I had a very, very bad time. Very, very bad time. And when we were growing up, that was always the thing that your parents say, you got to be careful, because they're going to, you could do drugs and you don't know, and they're laced. Normally they don't lace stuff unless they charge you a bunch of money for it, right? They don't want to give stuff away. But first name, Jag said he flew out into international waters and dumped evidence. So if the feds got all that stuff, imagine how bad the stuff he dumped was. I think it would be an adventure, right, to try to dump evidence out of the type of aircraft that this dude has, right? I mean, these aren't Cessnas he's flying. These are pressurized aircraft. I mean, maybe he did that. Why land? I mean, if your goal is to just go someplace and dump this thing out over the water, it seems odd to fly to an island. And I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's a theory, I guess, as good as any others. But I don't know that anybody on Earth knows what was up with that plane, right? It makes for a lot of, I have heard that it was flying out the $500 million package that he sold on the dark web, which has every face of every person that's ever screwed up. It's like the greatest hits tape, right? Sounds good. Sounds good. But I promise you, I am guilty of taking stories like this and running with it. And it's not going to happen anymore. I promise you. I may not be a journalist, but I'm going to learn how. I promise I'm going to learn how. Yeah, the he's gonna be hating it in there. He is absolutely gonna be hating it in there. And he's gonna be hating it worse around the holidays, I'll tell you. He is most assuredly alone, right? He's in a cell with no other cellmate. So they're saying, you probably have heard, he's getting visits every day, right? And people go, "Oh man, he's getting hooked up," because people in the feds don't get visits every day. He's getting legal visits every day, right? The people that are coming to see him, these are lawyers, paralegals, right? Now, they're probably coming to babysit him, get him out of the cell, sit him in there, talk to him, tell him everything's going to be all right, right? Allegedly, this guy's going to drop $100 million. You babysit his ass, right? For real. $100 million is allegedly what they plan on spending on this defense. You're not going to let this guy get nervous. You're not going to let him sit in his cell going, why is my attorney not doing something? Send somebody up there, man. Get him out of his cell for 4 or 5 hours a day and sit with him. Ask him questions. Let him do crossword puzzles, whatever. And I'll tell you something. I had a couple of hundred visits with my attorney when I was fighting the bank robbery. All right. Every other time I've ever been arrested in my entire life, all of the interactions I had with lawyers, all that time didn't equal a fifth of the time that I spent with the attorney that I would later marry. Right. But if you've got an attorney that just goes, "Yeah, I'm going to come up and see you as often as I can," they can come up whenever they want. They literally can come up whenever they want. An attorney can show up at 2 a.m. and go, "I need to see my client." They're bringing him in. They're waking you up and they're putting you in an MP room. It's just how it goes down. So those are the visits he's getting. I promise you, he's not getting that. Yeah, you know something? Probably good info. If somebody's lighting up some, if they're getting wet, get out of the room, right? Sherman Helmsley. Yeah, stuff's no joke. Danette McClure says, "I want to know why Bieber's parents aren't being charged with something. They allowed it. He was a child, and they were responsible for him." Well, yeah. I mean, how about Scooter Braun, right? He was responsible for him. There were an army of people, right? And it only would have taken probably one. All of the people that were looking out for his best interest, all it would have taken was one to say, "You know what, man? There's going to be plenty of time for you to go to nightclubs and act stupid and ride around in Ferraris, right? And experiment with drugs and all of the stupid crap that we do in our lives. Maybe it wouldn't be such a great idea to do at 14 with a few $1 million on your, on your debit account." It's, I feel horrible for the kid, and I don't know that he had to do the egg test. I don't know that he had to sell his soul, right? I don't know that. I think that no matter what did happen, um, it's not healthy, right? None of it's healthy. So that I think I can feel pretty comfortable saying it's unhealthy. Um, yes, it is how they make gas station the gas station stuff. And I'll tell you something. There are people listening to the sound of my voice right now, right, who would say, "Man, I would never do PCP. You're an idiot," right? "I would never do that stuff." I promise you, I have watched people smoking that crap you can get at the gas station, right? The last time I was in the joint, I watched 8 years, right? And you would not believe how badly that stuff mimics PCP. I watched guys go back crazy. I watched a guy jump off the top tier. I watched a guy fall off the top tier and literally managed to do a perfect like backflip and stick it, right? Landed on both feet and then freaked out about it happening and ran screaming, trying to get through the doors, which don't open, right? Nothing opens in prison. But he ran into the doors at top speed trying to get out. Another guy just screamed, top of his lungs, blood curdling. And he's like, he's sitting in a row with about 9 other guys that are watching TV. And out of the blue, he just starts blood curdling screams. But that K2 crap, trust me, it's not a synthetic cannabinoid. I mean, it is. But the way that they're putting this stuff together, it's not acting like weed. Don't get it messed up, man. It's not. Now, that's a legitimate question, right? That's a legitimate question. What the hell was Bieber, Usher, and then yeah? I mean, here's the thing: why would any parent allow this to happen? And I worked my parents. We all worked our parents, right? I wanted to be a big time skier, right? That's what I wanted to do in my life, and I know that I beat the hell out of my parents because I wanted to go to this event or I wanted to do this, and I would wear them down, and I would wear them down, and I would wear them down because I was a terrible person, right? And then it happened to me. I mean, Spanx does it, or did it, I should say, when he was a kid. It's the same kind of stuff. This is just, but if your kid wanted to be a star and you saw the talent in him, and all of a sudden there were people going, yeah, your kid can be a star. I can understand how that they give up small little increments, right? A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and then there's a little bit more trust. And then, right, that apartment that you've really been having a very difficult time making the rent on for the last 7 years, well, that thing's gone, right? And now you're in a 17,000 square foot house and you're driving a Bentley, and everything starts changing. You know, the child becomes a cash cow, right? Hey, Ben, good to see you, man. Wow, very cool, man. I'm a huge fan of the Tommy Stig Social Club. Love it, man. I really do. It's a great hangout. Reminds me a lot of the people that my family. Hey, Spanx Calhoun's here. Yeah, I'm a little disturbed by this. I really am. Why would any parent allow their child to watch the Brady Bunch or Saturday Night Fever? The horror, the horror. See this? Now I've got it. Now it's coming from multiple sources. It's always how it starts. You know, first it's just that crazy man who went to Japan, and then it starts to, hey, Miss Weedlepoo, good to see you. How are you? Purple Groovy, what's happening? You know what? It looks that way, doesn't it? It does. It looks that way, and it's a disturbing, disturbing clip of film. Now, by way of full disclosure, right? Do you know how that clip of film got taken? That wasn't somebody with a cell phone, right? That managed to capture that. The whole world saw that. That was the night of the show. Every time people, like when they're getting ready to go to commercial, they would show what was happening just off stage, right? All of the so they would show the host or whatever talking to people or the last person who won an award. They would just show kind of backstage, and that's when you saw Diddy, and he was also standing with Ashton Kutcher, I believe, is in the same shot. Now, knowing what we know in 2024, that clip of film is creepy because allegedly that's about the age of the last girl at the time. She's a woman now, but the last case alleges that he did this to a 13-year-old, right? While two other famous people were there. That is what has been alleged. So when you see him say to a 13-year-old, hey, you want to come to the after party? Was he serious? Who knows, right? But it looks bad. It really looks bad. But I am going to get to the point now where I say things like, it looks really bad. I don't know that he really had any intention of that girl coming to the party, but it could have been. It's that's why predators target the naive and poor. They have control over people. Is need a part of the equation? Yeah, you know something, and this is kind of what I've been trying to hammer home, right? Because when people go on, all of Hollywood is this way. Entertainment is this way because in the U.S., like I'm sure that there's 2 or 3 lotteries going off this week that'll be going for 200 million, right, up to 500 million. Occasionally, our lottery will hit 1 billion, right? The Powerballs and all of this. Why? Because that many people are willing to go in and take a shot at their money, knowing that the odds of hitting it, right, are 1 in 140 million or some outlandish number like that. Diddy was a scratch off lottery ticket to any parent who had a kid who they thought was talented, right? Anybody that goes in and sits down with an audition with Diddy or with Weinstein or with any of these predators who have the ability to say, you know what? I'm going to make you famous and rich. Not only will you not have to worry about anything, neither will your family, your kids, their grandkids. You do this right, you're done. Here's what I want out of it, right? Allegedly, the last person that was there, he even said to him, "How bad do you want to be how bad do you want to be an athlete?" Diana, yeah, it's a bummer. It really is. It's a bummer. And what bums me out the most is the people that made it, the people that made that clip, because it's creative. It's creative, and I bet they made a killing, man. I mean, that thing has been shared and messed with and shared and messed with. They absolutely do it for power. They absolutely do it for power. And in the case of the diddler, he also did it so that he could leverage that power over other people. This is why Hollywood right now sounds like a graveyard, right? Because all of these people that went to Diddy parties and did anything, you could have had sex with your significant other in a room at Diddy's house, only to go, oh my God, that's on tape. Everything is on tape. And I think the realization for these people that were hanging out there and partying, everything was on tape. No one's willing to say a word right now. Anybody hear any good rumors about Ashton Kutcher and his wife? They're denying that they're moving to Europe. But boy, oh boy, man, everybody else is saying they are. He's on the top floor, says Ben. Yeah, he's on the top floor with the celebrities and the rats. I mean, honestly, and the people that have crimes that they can't allow that dude to go anywhere else, right? Yeah, he was extorting people. He was leveraging people. He was using it. It may not have even been money, right? It might have been favors. Think of, you got a long list of people that you can pull a hey, you're going to do this for me, but anytime you want. My favorite example is always just, hey, could you shave a few points for me? Huh? I don't want you to lose. You don't have to go out there and throw a game, right? LeBron. I'm kidding, people. I'm not alleging this. I'm just saying it could happen, right? If you had dirt on the guy and, he's playing the Spurs and the game is going off with a 30-point spread and an over and under of, say, 200. And all you say is, I don't care if you win the game, right? Just, I don't want you to cover the spread. And I want you to make sure that over and under is on the under. And now you can manufacture money. If you know the outcome of a game before it happens, if you can rig the outcome of a game, you make as much money as you want. Especially if you got millions and millions and millions of dollars laying around. Now, there are people, you're going to hear this a lot, and you're going to hear it a lot in the next week. There are going to be people that are alleging the reason there's 1,000 bottles of G is because he was selling them, right? This is the next one you're going to hear. That those things were just filled with G and he was selling them. I don't know where anybody gets that crap. The Valachi suite? Ben, that's awesome. The Valachi suite. If anybody is unfamiliar, Valachi was the first rat. I mean, honestly, like the first really big, epic rat to mess with what the Italians were doing. He gave up names. He gave up everything. Told about it. He's just Valachi was the first serious dirtbag. It's a great line though. Came late. Saw you retracted your opinion on what was going on with Justin Bieber and Odell. It is the right thing to do. It is. It's a bummer that you have to. It really does. It really does. It makes you not want to. It makes you want to be very careful, I guess. It really makes you want to be very careful. I don't want to lose credibility. I really don't. And I don't want to, and I don't want to make something worse than it is, because this is bad enough without us putting anything on poor Bieber. Like, Bieber doesn't need any more BS in his life coming from some jackwagon like myself, right? The kid shouldn't have been in a club, right, on New Year's. If he's not 21, maybe he shouldn't be in a club. And he sure as hell shouldn't be in there drinking and smoking blunts and doing any of the other things that you can find on tape that look legitimate as hell, right? Absolutely. Isn't it possible Ashton turned over a new leaf when he met Mila? It's a possibility. It absolutely is a possibility. I don't know. There's a lot of smoke around this dude. This guy spent a lot of time with people who were really into this whole, they like relations with people who are badly under the influence of substances that they put in their drinks, right? I mean, his best friend on planet Earth was Danny Masterson. Masterson is currently residing in the California Department of Corrections for the next 30 some odd years, right? Because he's a scumbag. Right. And he seems, birds of a feather and all that jazz, right? Yeah, I mean, look, there's some legitimate. I mean, I get where they're coming from, right? I get where they're coming from. Why else would you need 1,000 bottles? Well, I mean, let's say you're doing freak off every 2 weeks, right? Or every week, who knows? Say you're doing 52 of them a year, right? They go for, what did he say? Sometimes 2 to 3 days at a whack. I don't know how much G they're using. I don't know what the cut is in there, or if that bottle is just straight G. But you look at a guy that owns, Sean John clothing, and you look at a guy that owns a record label, and he's got homes that are you're selling G. Like, what's honestly, even if you got 1,000 bottles, if you could get, $1,000 a bottle, would it be worth the risk of slinging that crap and losing the? I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's just, to me, seems it's bizarre to think about. It really is. But they are absolutely going through all of this stuff. And the idea that they mentioned a ton of narcotics, right? They're part of the charge is that this organization was moving dope of some kind, right? They wouldn't have put it in there. They had something to do with it. It's part of the indictment. Ashton met Mila when she was 14, and there's some creepy clips out there talking about sticking his tongue down her throat on a bet at the age of 14. And who put the money up? Oh, Danny Masterson. Oh boy, JoJo. Absolutely a fact, right? Absolutely a fact. Drug use contributes, excuse me, to the stalling of emotional development factor in abuse, and you have a mess that might require more time, support, etc., than a young person has to sort it all out. Yeah, and sadly, everybody that's around him in his little group is trying to come up on him, right? Everybody that sees the kid sees him as a big walk-in paycheck, right? And sadly, I think that it's got to be very difficult for that kid. In interviews, he said, everybody tells me they love me, right? But I don't think it's. I don't think there's a lot of that love that he's feeling. Mara, have a good evening. Be safe. Hey, Shane, how are you? Good to see you, man. Glad that you're here. Welcome. Shane's on fire, man. Shane is on fire. Right? Seriously, the Sean Atwood program has got the greatest guests. It's absolutely unbelievable. They have been booking one just knockdown guest after another. And my friend Joel was over there today. Joel from Surviving the Survivor. It's a long time been a close fan of our show. I love Surviving the Survivor. I love everybody over there. It's a great channel, and he is a Emmy award-winning journalist. He's the real deal, and he's one of those people that doesn't run with stories unless he chases them all the way down to the base. And I think I really admire the hell out of it. I really do. I don't want to. I don't want to run with stuff that's BS and then have to come back here and go, "Hey, I might have been wrong on that one." I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I will absolutely hook you up. Gibson, how are you? Good to see you. Bacon Bits, glad you're here. Goosebumps, what's up? All right, sorry. Joel is good peeps, man. He really is. So is his wife, the chief of everything. His mom is amazing. She's funny as hell and a survivor, like the real deal survivor. And thank you for the support as well, Shane. And I will talk to you shortly. And in an interview, Ashton and Masterson were joking around. Ashton couldn't wait for Mila to turn 18. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a chance. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Sorry, people. Am I wearing one of my Quorum watches? I am. That is a good eye. That is one of my Quorum watches. You know what? I tend to believe that. The Atwood Unleashed says you guys will lose your hat with what is coming for the rest of the week. And I do believe that's a fact. I know some of the rumors, and it's looking like it's going to be a heck of a week. It is a big watch, right? There's no getting around that. It's a very large watch. But if you're racing a yacht, you know what I mean? You don't have to squint while you're yacht racing. These things are made for racing yachts. And as you know, I'm getting ready to, I can't. I'll never get in a yacht, but I do enjoy the hell out of the watch. My favorite watch ever, if I could have anything, Breguet made a tourbillon that's pretty sick. Oh wait, Gail! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Look at that, people. 4 years is epic. This, Gail, the official participation trophy of the Lifeboat. Bust this out anytime somebody does something that makes us happy, and that does. There's nothing that makes me happier than people talking about sobriety. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's the hardest fight. You know what? You may not believe this, people, but I got one of those texts that I get. Have I any time to follow the Richard Allen? Yeah, I am. That is absolutely something I am following. I saw that. All right, people. I'm calling this a night, and I'm calling it a night for journalistic reasons. I've got a couple of people I got to reach out and talk to. I will be back tomorrow with better equipment, although I didn't hear anybody's. Was it as bad tonight as it has been? Either way, I got to get rid of it, because if it's going in and out, that's not good either. I will see all of you tomorrow. Between now and then, do me a favor, reach out and try to save somebody. All right? God bless. Have a good evening.